Getting situated. Just getting situated.
All right, ready.
Do you wanna ride with Sammy? What you want me to do? Come on and slide with Sammy. Sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
This is Sippin' with Sammy. I am Mr. Fly Shit Only, the one and only Sippin' with Sammy. Sam Malone, Barstool Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammy, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together.
Damn, Sammy, you done fucked up.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah, boy.
We're gonna have a funky good.
What's up with y'all, man? What's up? What's up? Yup! We in here. Happy hour. Happy Saturday. All that madness. The crazy thing is, I guess it's happy hour for me. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. But we on a little early today. It is a Super Bowl weekend. A lot going on in the news. A lot that got the city excited in the sports world. And we decided to tap in. Actually, it's perfect that we did because I don't believe we will on Monday. So this is a good time for us to check in with y'all, see what's up with y'all. How's everybody? Is anybody sipping? Is anybody an Eagles fan? Is anybody a Kansas City Chiefs fan?
Not at all.
Is anybody running around New Orleans with a team on that's in Cancun? I just want to know. I'm very curious. I saw somebody ask Gilly to take a picture with them with a Washington hat on, and he grinded old head the fuck up. But he took the picture. But it was, just a little ironic. Don't you think?
I think so.
A little too ironic. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
We ain't got no weekend recap because it is the weekend. Unless you want to discuss how your week went. How about that? Any of that for the people, Kay? I do have Kay from Fine Productions in here, by the way. She just sat back down.
Bird
Yeah.
Gang.
Talk heavy.
We in here.
Talk heavy.
You know. I'm excited.
Yeah, you look it, man.
I'm
See,
excited.
you got your green on and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whole
so-
grocery store had their green on today.
I bet. I ain't even think about that. That's funny.
Yeah.
So how you feeling this afternoon?
I'm feeling great.
You great?
Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
We live in Philly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic.
I heard that. So you're betting your money on the Birds, I'm assuming.
Oh, I don't bet on games I care about.
Oh. So,
The emotional investment is bet enough.
all right. Solid. So how was your week, lady?
Week was good. Worked. Kind of.
Couldn't even say that with a straight face. That's crazy.
Really couldn't. Like we told the people on Monday, I am transitioning away from my current job.
So
So,
she's on a farewell tour right now.
exactly. I call it my farewell tour, and I've been on it for probably about 3 weeks now. So it's been great, catching up on a lot of little things that I had to get done, and other than that, it's been moving pretty smooth. So I can't complain. What about you? How was your week?
Well, similarly, I have started a new gig, and we've been going through a lot of transitions. My training is quite extensive for this job, so this week we moved into another phase, which caused me to have to wake up every morning at around 4:30 in the morning, which, since I do the sipping, is really not like me. But proud of myself and excited that I got through it without even having to wait for my alarm to go off. I was up at 'em, dressed, ready to go, and not sluggish throughout my day. I had one day when the last hour was a little rough. I was sitting there trying not to nod. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that happens regularly at my other job anyway. Like, you always get that last stretch that might get a little crazy. You don't understand that because you just go home. But
Right.
yeah, for regular people. it
Or I get
happens.
another coffee.
It happens. And I've had instances to be able to prove myself to the bosses at the job that I do know what the job is. So it's exciting. It's exciting, but it's exhausting. And glad I got the weekend off because it's about to get crazy. It's about to get real crazy.
Absolutely.
I got some 7-day stretches coming up and all that. So
Well,
it is what it is.
Here's fingers crossed for the parade on Thursday.
I won't be there.
Don't you work 2 to 10?
Yeah.
You can go in the morning.
I'm not going down there to get stuck. And
Huh.
then go to work and get stuck. Nope. Nope. Won't have me.
I'll
Plus,
probably
like,
be watching it on the TV.
yeah, with my temperament, I'm better off not, you know what I mean?
I went to the last one. All
Alright.
It was fun. Had a great time. Saw Jason Kelsey give his infamous Mummers costume speech. That was great.
He's the only mummer I respect.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I got to see that in person, which I feel like that was a big Philadelphia moment. So I was kind of really glad I was there.
No, that was huge, and he was smashed. He wasn't even sipping that day.
Not even a little bit.
He was out of his wig.
But I definitely think the next one, unless I have a group to go with, I could watch on the TV.
I mean, I'm sure you raise a hand, you find a group. it ain't gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
But,
you know, I don't really like being around a lot of weirdos.
all right, so let's get into some topics. You weird person.
All right. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. I was gonna let you choose. Damn. Yeah, I don't want to start there. You choose. You want to start with the women's basketball or something?
Sure, we can start with women's basketball.
Matter of fact, start with the Sterling Sharpe. Let's
Oh.
start with something really uplifting real quick.
Okay.
Because where I was about to start is a little dark, so we're gonna go high,
Okay.
and then we'll float, and then we'll go to that, and then we'll go back up, type of thing.
All right. So, as you know, it is Super Bowl weekend, which means that all of our favorite sports media folks are down in New Orleans. And of course, Nightcap, Shannon Sharpe, had the good idea to do a live show as part of his Super Bowl trip. So they had a live Nightcap show in front of a live audience. When I say live, is what I mean there. And a little surprise happened during the live show. So Shannon Sharpe got to reveal to his brother, Sterling Sharpe, that he was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which makes them the first brother duo to both be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. And watching them interact around this moment on the stage was really, really beautiful. I think they both clearly hold each other in such high esteem and really look up to each other. So just seeing that brotherly love was awesome. But what did you think of this moment, Sam?
I think even deeper, because what they discussed on the show was he actually revealed to Sterling earlier that Sterling had made the Hall of Fame at his home. But he was saying the way that the NFL or the production team wanted to do it, they wanted him to pop up on Sterling, or they wanted Sterling to come to his house, and he was like, both of those were going to be weird. You got to handle him a certain way because he was going to know something, because they haven't been to each other's houses in so long, but they talk all the time. So I thought that was very interesting in how they strategized that, and the fact that, like, that's big bro. That's like his dad, so you got to be careful with, hey, I just need you to stop by. He's going to get concerned. And I just like that it was so much consideration given and handled with such gloves because of the respect that Shannon has for Sterling, to where, like, y'all not going to control this. We're going to put this in the best light to have my brother receive it the best way possible. And I think that's important, because a lot of times it's like, well, I don't have any ideas, but Shannon does production, you know?
Right.
So he has a different understanding of what the options are sometimes. Like, some people might think, well, maybe this is the way we have to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that it was just like, it was an ode to how he really cares and focuses on how his brother is treated, that he made sure he still treated his brother right, even in a moment that's supposed to be celebratory and congratulatory. You got to be careful with my brother.
Right.
I thought that was awesome. And congratulations to the two of them. I mean, two very intelligent, very strong black men that come from houses with no plumbing and become bosses and millionaires and inspirations and people in the community and in society that gave back more than they gave them, you know? So I'm definitely excited for Sterling. I thought what was interesting was the part of the speech that he gave when he said it was never his dream to be in the Hall of Fame. He was never working towards that. So it's just one of those things that comes along as like a bonus. but it's not one of those things he dreamt about, which is, I think, different for Shannon.
Right.
But similar to what Shannon said, like when he went first round, he wasn't as excited as he was for Shannon when Shannon went seventh round. So I think it's vice versa in this instance. I think the haul is so big to Shannon that he's more excited for Sterling than Sterling is. And that's just an awesome full circle type of thing, man. When you really care about your family and your folks, I think that's beautiful. So I was excited to see it. I have another portion I need to watch where Dion pulled up on him. I want to see how that went because I know Prime shows some love to Sterling. He knows how special Sterling is. And Sterling didn't play a long career, so it wasn't one of those things where he was a shoe-in for the haul. I think people got to realize the way he went out on injury, they had an excuse not to let him in. So, just once again, for those men. You want to add anything to that?
No, I just want to say shout out to TFO.
TFO?
He just followed us on TikTok, so appreciate the follow.
Shout out TFO, man. Salute.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on then.
I love seeing that, though. That was fire.
Yeah, that was dope. I like that we started there.
Granddad is smiling down on them, man. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on and talk about the new A1s.
Hey now, to
Yes.
A1s. That's crazy. I didn't know that's what they called. I guess they
Yes,
would be
the A1. So, Nike just revealed Asia Wilson's first signature shoe with Nike brand, affectionately called the A1.
Fire.
You can see in the picture here, they are a bright pink color wave, totally different silhouette for Nike, kind of similar to their, like, what are those called? The Nike Waves. With the sole model. But other than that, this is a totally original design for Asia.
I think it's fire.
Super fire. And we also got to see some of the NBA and WNBA players already rocking them in the Unrivaled League, as well as Asia's boyfriend, Bam.
Bam out of Bayou.
Yes, was rocking a pair on the court as well. So what do you think about this new release and the shoe itself?
How fire is it for your girlfriend to have the hottest new basketball shoe and you in the league too?
Right.
Like, that's like a complete reversal of what how things usually go, right? Like, that's crazy. That's amazing. Congratulations to Asia. I say all the time, she deserves everything she gets and a bigger paycheck to go alongside of that. You know, she's just one of those players. I'm glad that because we saw prototypes of what her shoe would look like and stuff like that, and some of them didn't look practical. This one looks like a good ball shoe. It looks like a fly ball shoe, and people are already adapting to it. And we seen people wearing the Stewies and the Caitlins and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, all season.
So now the big dog in the league, she got something for people to rep, and I think it's fly. I really think it's fly. I love that the initial colorway is hot pink. I'm interested to see what colors they play with and how because if you look at the way the shoe is sectioned off, there's a lot of ways that they could put multiple colors into their silhouette. Like the circle on the sole itself, the arc that's under the swoosh. All of those could be different colors. And along with the base of the shoe. So I think that design is going to prove interesting with the way that Nike does like to put out multiple editions and collections and stuff like that. Like, she might have collections.
Yeah.
She might have hybrid, with designers or whoever, foundations, any of that stuff. So I think that it's a good canvas for that. So I be thinking about like the bigger thing, because with basketball shoes, it's always how do they perform on the court and how do they look with jeans or shorts. And a lot of basketball shoes these days don't necessarily look the best with jeans or shorts. So you got to think about the other ways that they could be marketed.
Right.
So I think that this covers like this checks all the boxes for real. Unless it proves to be a dull shoe, which everybody's already playing in it. So I think it's fire.
Yeah, I don't foresee that being.
I think performance wise, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, man. I wonder how light it is.
It looks light.
It looks like a big shoe, but it looks light.
It looks light.
It looks like she's holding her size though. So whatever.
Yeah. Probably.
Now I'm excited for the A1s, man. Shout out to Asia. I got an Asia tee. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I bangs with the Asia.
Absolutely. So while we're talking about the WNBA, let's move on to talk about some of the final free agency and trade deals that have happened in the last couple of days. So this has been a very exciting free agency period for the WNBA,
Absolutely.
particularly because the CBA goes into effect next year. So a lot of folks are moving around, trying out new teams, and it's making for a very exciting time. So some of the teams that have made the most moves over the offseason are up on the screen here. So you can see their new potential starting fives. So what's interesting is outside of the Mercury, the rest of these teams did not actually make the playoffs last year. Or I'm sorry, outside of the Fever and the Mercury.
I was about to say the Fever did, yeah.
Fever was out the first round.
Right.
Mercury, I think, made it to the second round. So these were some of the bottom half of the teams in the league, and they have completely revamped their starting fives to the point where these might end up being some of the most competitive teams this year. Let's start over with the Atlanta Dream. So they have picked up Jordan Canada, Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, who they already had, Brianna Jones, and now Brittany Griner.
Crazy.
That is a crazy lineup. The Wings, who were actually the worst team in the league, besides the Mystics last year,
Right.
They're anticipated to get a great draft pick, expected to take Paige Buckers. They also have Arike,
Yep.
Dejanay Carrington. Who does that say? McDowan? Can't read her first name. There we go. Tiara McDowan and Nalisa Smith. So moving over to the Sparks, we already talked about the Kelsey Plum trade. Their second guard position is still kind of up for grabs, but they also have DeErica Hamby, Rakia Jackson,
Crazy.
and Cameron
Cameron
Brink, who's coming back from her knee injury.
Crazy.
Then, probably one of my favorite teams for this year, the Mercury. You have Diana Taurasi, who has still not confirmed whether she is intending to play in this upcoming season. So there's a big question mark there. But folks do expect her to sign for one more year. You also have Sammy Whitcomb, Kalia Copper,
Crazy.
Alyssa Thomas,
Crazy.
and Satu Sabali.
Crazy.
And then, looking over at the Indiana Fever, of course you have Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell was re-signed for another year. And now joining her, well, you also have Aaliyah Boston, of course. Joining her will be DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard to round out a dominating starting five.
Aaliyah Boston been getting it together, too.
That she has. We've been seeing her play pretty well in the Unrivaled League as well. So, what do you think about these moves, these five teams in particular, and how do you feel about the upcoming season?
I think this is part of why the W is so different. Because, like, they're trying to expand the league now.
Mm-hmm.
So every team is always loaded. Like, every team is top-heavy. Every team has, for lack of a better term, every team has 3 motherfuckers that scary on it already. Once trades start happening, that 3 turns to 5 overnight. Like, and we're looking at 2 of these teams who was the worst in the league, like you said, right? But they still had dogs. Like, look at the Fever, right?
Yeah.
So y'all just grab and the lowest team is guaranteed the first pick, so you're going to get a high draft. Like, things shift so easily in a W that's exciting in itself. I think it gets a little weird for the players because they already not making a lot of money, so to get moved around and all that, I don't know how that really works. But I'm assuming that they renting in most of these cities anyway.
Yeah, I would think
Because
so.
the season is super short. So, like, I don't know. I'm excited about it. It's just like the NBA trades and stuff that we'll probably talk about later. Like, I'm excited about to see how these pieces fit together. But honestly, for the teams that's on the screen, I don't see it being a problem with any of those pieces meshing. I think that we got to see if what's her name commits to playing this season or if she's gonna fall back.
GT.
Yeah, Tarasi.
Mm-hmm. Even without her, though, the Mercury is stacked.
But they're still crazy. That was what I was about to say.
They're still stacked.
Like, they're still crazy. They're still crazy. And I mean, certain names like Copper, what's her name? Ryan Howard. Like, those are pieces that work anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter. Just get them people that want to run with them, and they run it. And it's like, anytime you hear those two names, it don't matter who the lineup is. If they got two other motherfuckers that want to hoop, you like, well, they're contenders.
Yep.
They got to show you they not. So I think it's fire. I think I'm excited about next season. One of my new coworkers was talking about how he been frustrated with the league, so he been watching a lot of college and stuff like that. And I've been watching women's in the league, and he was like, yeah, the women been getting crazy. I'm like, watch the Unrivaled league. I'm putting them on. Like, you got some time. The Unrivaled league is fun, bro. He's just looking at me like he not sure, but I think he's gonna try it.
Good.
Yeah.
So I do want to touch on the other side of this coin, though. So while those 5 teams have done very well for themselves during the free agency period, and trade period, there are a couple of other teams who have kind of fallen behind. The Washington Mystics have yet to make a single signing for next year's roster. They have no confirmed re-signings, no new additions, 1 confirmed departure, and they were already the worst team in the league. So to me, this is very surprising. I don't understand why they're not doing more, trying harder. I gotta think that they have some front office issues.
They're about to be the New Jersey Mystics or some shit. Watch.
Yeah, I think that they're probably going to be moving soon. I'm right there with you. And hey, you know, if they want to become a Philadelphia team, we did just put in our bid for a WNBA team. So
no, start fresh, man. Don't grab nobody. No, start fresh, because the way that you're able to grab players, which hasn't seemed to work out for what's their name, but what's their names?
Valkyries. We'll get there in a second.
Yeah, but like, no, start fresh, man.
All right. So additionally, the Seattle Storm has not fared too well. They have not announced any re-signings to date. However, they did lose Jewel Lloyd and Sammy Whitcomb. And they did sign Lee Yarrow, but that has been their only addition to date. We already talked about how amazing the Mercury did, but let's talk about 2 of the best teams in the league from last year, the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. So the New York Liberty has officially confirmed that Kennedy Burke is going to return, but they have yet to firm up Brianna Stewart. So with Brianna Stewart still TBD, and she was their most significant free agent available this year, the rest of their roster is pretty much locked in. So you will still see Jonquel Jones. You'll see a couple of other returning faces that you're familiar with. Sabrina Ionescu, all of them.
They deep.
But Courtney Vandersloot did depart during her free agency. So they haven't necessarily lost too many players besides Vandersloot, but they also haven't added anybody. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue their championship regime from last year.
I think that, real quick, for this one,
Yeah.
I think it's a little different for them because it's almost like it wasn't enough balls on the court for all the players they had. So you kind of got to lose one because they're pretty dominant.
Yeah, they are.
So, I mean, like, I think that losing one for them is a lot different.
Well, I think that New York Liberty looks fine so long as they keep Stewie.
Yep.
If they lose Stewie and Stewie goes somewhere else, that is going to rip open the WNBA. Especially if Stewie ends up signing to one of those 5 teams that we mentioned in the beginning of this segment.
She might have left over the possibility of Stewie staying, though.
Who might have left?
Who they got rid of?
Vandersloot?
Vandersloot.
Vandersloot and Stewie don't really compete that much. Vandersloot's a guard.
Yeah, but if Stewie is getting the amount of shots Stewie gonna get when Stewie's on the court, I'm gonna go somewhere else and get buckets.
I think it's more likely Vandersloot moved because of Sabrina Ionescu.
Ionescu. Well, my original point is, you keep naming a lot of people that need the ball in their hands.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair to say.
Yeah.
Fair to say. So let's move on to the Lynx. This is one of my favorite teams in the league. Obviously, this is Nafisa Collier's team, who will be returning again. They also
Oh, my bad.
did announce the re-signing of Natisha Heidman.
Nice.
So she was good. She's their backup point guard to Courtney Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Liberty, a lot of the Minnesota Lynx players were already locked in for next year. But they have made a couple more moves. They have added a Belgian player, Mariam Badziani, which I have not heard of her before. I apologize if I said your name incorrectly. But she is a forward, I believe. So it's going to be interesting to see what she ends up being able to bring to that team. And additionally, they have acquired a Grace Berger as well. So they're just kind of filling up their role-playing and bench spots at this time. But so far, their starting lineup has kind of remained the same from last year, moving into this season as well. Mm-hmm. The only big loss was Maisha Hines-Allen. But again, that's a spot that I believe they've already filled with their new Belgian signing. We've talked about the Aces before, but just to refresh you, they lost Kelsey Plum, but they added Jewel Lloyd. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus has agreed to a training camp deal, and Dana Evans also joined via a trade with Chicago. So they've, again, been going mostly after role players. They already have their 3 stars kind of in lock motion with Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, and now Jewel Lloyd. Mm-hmm. But it should be worth saying that all 3 of those players are quite veteran. So while they might look really good for this next season, and of course we have the CBA coming up, so everybody's going to move after that anyway. But I wouldn't expect the Aces they're not looking at going into the season trying to build up for a longer future. They're very much so in the win now mentality, which makes sense.
My opinion on the Aces is, remember towards the end of the playoffs when we had nights where we were seeing Asia get stuck? Mm-hmm. I think Jewel Lloyd frees some of that up.
I agree.
I think Jewel Lloyd puts teams in a position where you're not going to be able to do that. And I'm sure Asia has been working all off season to make sure that doesn't happen again. She's probably been posting Bam ass up all summer. All winter. But yeah, I think that I like that. I like that for them, because there was those times where the ball would get stuck, and it lost them games.
Yeah. Sometimes
you just gotta add a piece, remove a piece, whatever, to make that not a thing. And she has to work, which Asia always works. So.
Yeah, that's never an issue.
No, I literally think she's been making sure that's not going to happen again.
Facts.
Because she was looking frustrated, and you don't see her like that a lot. Sheesh. Connecticut?
Yeah, so probably the team that's done the most wheeling and dealing.
You traded the whole team.
In the offseason is Connecticut Sun.
Shit.
And let's be clear that this actually started with their coach leaving. Their coach was gone in October. Mm-hmm. So when that happened, it was pretty much known that the whole starting 5 might dip out.
Sheesh.
And that they did. So they lost Brianna Jones, Alyssa Thomas, Dejanay Carrington, Tyasha Harris, Rebecca Allen, and Dewana Bonner. They have since gotten Tina Charles, Natasha Cloud, Rebecca Allen, JC Sheldon, Diamond DeShields, Nicolina Millick, Lindsay Allen, and Layla Lacan.
Now they bounced back a little bit, it looked like.
Here's the thing, though. If you look at the names that they lost versus the names that they signed, it's not looking that great.
But
And also, some of the names that departed were some of their new trades that they had just gotten, not to mention the fact that yesterday, their one remaining star player, Mabry, requested a trade. So it's not looking good for the Suns.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to the Chicago Sky, they did re-sign Michaela Onyenwere. They also added Vandersloot and Rebecca Allen after the Connecticut Sun lost her, even though they traded to get her. They've also added Kia Nurse. They have lost Dana Evans, Lindsay Allen, Nikina Millick, and Diamond DeShields, which they lost most of those players over to the Suns. But remember, those names didn't do too much for Chicago Sky last year. So, again, if you look at the caliber of players that the Sun got for a lot of these trades, I just don't think that they're going to be a great team this year. And the last team that I wanted to talk about today, the Golden State Valkyries. So the Golden State Valkyries have had some trouble luring in their free agents and trade targets.
Have they announced the coach yet?
The Valkyries coach?
Yeah, you did announce the coach earlier.
Yeah, the
right?
coach was announced prior to the
Yeah.
expansion draft.
Because that was the only reason I would think that would be a problem. But go ahead.
Well, I think it's tough to lure people over to a franchise that they don't know much about. And, a new franchise, you don't really know where they're going to fall in the scale of things. However, they did just announce yesterday that they have signed Tiffany Hayes.
Oh.
Tiffany Hayes is a big name. We've been watching her in the Unrivaled League a lot. I think that this is a huge veteran signing for them. And outside of Tiffany Hayes, they have also been acquiring a ton of international players from Belgium, France, Canada, even a couple of players from the UK. So
The Olympics just ended. Why not?
exactly. I would imagine we won't recognize a ton of the names on the Golden State Valkyries, but I do imagine they will end up being a very competitive team in the league this year. So I'm excited to watch them. Again, I think the Mercury is going to be the hot team. I do think the Aces are going to fizzle. I think that their players are just a little too old, and it's not going to go too great for them this season. But those are my early predictions. Curious what your takes are.
I'm not making no predictions, man. I'm excited to watch. I'm seeing Angel Reese still missing wide open layups in the Unrivaled League, so I really want her to get herself together. I'm excited to see what the Fever going to do because Caitlin is always exciting to watch. It's just I'm excited for a lot of just good basketball. I'm not really thinking about how old the Aces are because this league really puts you in a position where the more it grows, it's no longer predictable. It's no longer predictable, especially with this offseason trading. So Aces might catch a stride, might catch the right opponent in the playoffs and run it up. I don't know. But I like what I'm seeing. I'm excited. I'm glad that we're still watching women's basketball right now. And that this league is expanding, which is a good sign. And
Absolutely.
And Philly will have a team in the near future. So, yeah, keep running it up.
That part.
Let one of my favorite players retire in Philly. I love it. I love it. Give us 4 years and fall back. You know what I mean? Yeah, set it off in this motherfucker. Teach us how to win. I would love that.
All right, so while we're talking about women's basketball, it is time to check in with the Unrivaled League.
Right.
So today is their last day of games before they go on break for their one-on-one tournament that starts on Monday, which we covered last Monday, so I'm going to skip that for today. I do want to tell you, however, what the standings are looking like because it's gotten pretty interesting. So we're about halfway through the league, and the Lunar Owls are still undefeated, sitting 7-0 for the standings. The Laces are 4-2, having lost 2 games, one of which was to the Lunar Owls. I forget if the other one was too. But the rest of the teams up until, the Rose is at 3-4. The Vinyl was at 2-4. The Mist was at 2-5, and the Phantom is at 2-5. So the rest of the league is pretty much neck and neck. You have a lot of 2-5, 2-4, 3-4 type of standings. I think that those teams could kind of go any which way. The Vinyl was looking hot in the beginning of the season, but unfortunately they just went on a 4-game losing streak. So they have not been doing so great of late. But it's going to be interesting to see how this continues to shake out. The Lunar Owls are just looking so tough right now. Nafisa is balling. She's tough to stop, man. I think that it's going to be interesting to see who can finally knock the Lunar Owls off of their undefeated run.
Nafisa is a constant matchup problem.
Yep.
It's always a mismatch with her. She's too smart. She's too strong. Like, she's deceptively strong at that. So it's like...
And she's just such a high IQ player.
Yeah, it's like she's elusive.
Yep.
She always gets where she's supposed to get. Even when she gets beat on defense, she recovers well.
Yep.
Like, I mean, at a high clip. So it's like, yeah. And you see that in Unrivaled League because everything turns into one-on-one basketball. And it's like, well, now you got to guard her.
And we did see Brittany Griner last night match up against Nafisa a couple of times, and that definitely put a little bit of a damper on Nafisa's scoring power. But
Nafisa's smart enough to open up other options.
She started passing more. She started moving the ball around a little bit more, running more pick and roll game, getting the defenders to switch, and they still ended up winning.
Nafisa going to wind up being a great coach if she wants to.
Absolutely. But BG did look really tough last night.
BG is unstoppable if she... I don't know how she feels since she's been back, if she's gotten all the way back mentally.
Yeah.
But she's literally unstoppable if she runs her race the right way. She's scary. Like, she's like how I used to talk about young LeBron. Like, yo, you should only have 3 bad nights a season, and that should be versus 1 or 2 players that figured it out that night. You shouldn't. It should never be more than 2 games that you didn't go get your 40 points. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about Brittany against these women. Like, Brittany could play in the league. She would get cooked, but she could play in the league.
Yeah, definitely fair to say.
Fair to say.
All right, let's take a break from sports.
Yep.
Get into something else. Sam, what did this man do now?
So, my guy, Marcus Jordan, as he told the police, Michael Jordan's son, got stuck on the train tracks in a Lambo truck with very skinly clad dressed woman, and he sounded like he was very intoxicated, and he was arrested for DUI, possession of cocaine, and resisting arrest without violence, which I didn't even know you could resist arrest without violence. I didn't know that you was allowed that grace on the charge. But cool. One thing we've seen recently about Marcus Jordan, we've seen 2 things. We seen him running around with Larsa Pippen, and it really didn't make no sense because he's a Jordan and she's a former Pippen. And then we also seen him at a breakfast table, seemingly at a resort or on vacation somewhere at a nice, like, brunch type of place, and he's snorting right next to his fruit salad.
Wait, I think you're glazing over something.
What else?
Back to the Larsa Pippen stuff. Not only was he dating Larsa Pippen, but they ended up going on at least 2 reality TV shows together as a couple. And they weren't couple reality TV shows, which is weird.
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, they were both on The Traitors, and they were both on... God, what was the other one? It was another...
The one when you go with your significant other and watch them date somebody else the whole show?
No. It wasn't reality TV that had anything to do with couples. They were both casted as individuals, though they were a couple on reality TV game shows.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I think they were both on Deal or No Deal was the other one. Deal or No Deal Island.
That's crazy.
So they've been doing this. And, like, what that tells me is Marcus started dating Larsa. Larsa being the reality TV socialite type of personality that she's been, she tried to pull Marcus into this world with her. Then we start hearing about the cocaine.
I don't think the cocaine is new.
I don't think the cocaine was new either. But I think the fact that
he's getting
Larsa
way
was
more
pulling
attention
him into this world gave him that attention, and now all of a sudden it's headlines.
Well, it's funny because it's funny in two ways, right? People are saying don't name drop Michael Jordan in that instance. First of all, you would do that too. Cut it out. But the funny part is, they said, I think Charlamagne made the joke. You know, everybody that they pull over drunk say that their dad is fucking. Everybody that they pull over drunk whose last name is Jordan says that their dad is Michael Jordan, right? And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because he is really Jordan's son. He is driving a Lambo. But unless they know who he is, they possibly was like, yo, stop lying. The fuck out of here. And he really Mike's son. But what does this do to the legacy? How does this look on Mike? Is these celebrity kids just always gonna be like this? Like,
so to me, this doesn't look bad on Mike because Marcus Jordan is grown.
Grown as fuck.
Grown.
Mm-hmm.
When you're this age and you're making these decisions and there's headlines surrounding it, to me, this is no longer a reflection of Michael Jordan, of Michael Jordan's ability to parent. Like, you are grown. You are making your own decisions. You grew up with money. You grew up with a certain amount of privilege. And the decisions that you're making that are getting you into trouble are a product of this, like, entitled type of personality. Like, you're doing cocaine out in the open as if it's not an illicit drug. That's insane.
You know what? He'd have went viral for smoking a blunt. Honestly. Like, if they'd have caught him smoking a backwood, that would have made the news. This motherfucker was doing lines at the table. At an establishment.
Right. That's entitled.
Which could get this establishment destroyed.
And wasn't it while he was in Paris for the Olympics?
Yeah.
Like, you know that there's cameras everywhere. You know that people are following you just because you're here with Larsa Pippen and you're Michael Jordan's son. Like, you know all of this, and you still choose the decisions that you chose anyway.
How talented you gotta be to go anywhere internationally and always be able to bring China with you?
Hey, yo.
Hey, now, that's a bar.
Ooh.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Killed that. No, but, like, that's crazy. Boy was over there and had the year. And why do I have this funny balloon behind me? Can we adjust this? There's something we can do about this. Hold up, let me see.
Can you show the people? They can't really see it.
She put this balloon that she was supposed to have behind her, behind me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what's that on it? Is that a bird?
It's a funny looking bird. Hold
Is
on.
that an eagle?
Hold on. Put the camera on you for a second. And you talk.
What am I supposed to be talking about while you fiddle with this thing?
So, where's Marcus Jordan headed after this? Like, is it time to sit the fuck still? If it's not about his dad, what is this a cry for help? Like, or is he just partying? Like, do you know people that they be alright, they just do a little coke all the time?
I think he's just partying. Like, I think this is just his lifestyle now. You are plugged in. Oh, God. I think that he is just, I live fast, I live loose, I don't care, and that is my persona. Like, that's him now. And, you know, you gotta tie a little lower.
I'm working on it. Hold on. I moved when I did the thing.
But yeah, so I think that that's what it is. I also think that this might be... I don't think we're going to talk about future Marcus Jordan arrests anymore. Like, you know, I think that this was the second one with this illicit substance of choice. So I think that now he's just earned himself the label, like, yes, you are a C-head. And it is what it is.
Charlie Sheen, you are Bobby Brown. We
Right.
will no longer be surprised by
We will no longer be surprised by your antics. We will be more surprised if you find yourself another high-powered girlfriend, because I think that they're probably done with you too.
I doubt that part. I think you give high power women way too much credit. Man, motherfuckers bounce around them like women bounce around rappers and athletes. It's crazy. Trust me. It's crazy.
Well, that's Marcus Jordan.
I mean, there's always going to be a Keisha Cole out. Never mind.
Oh. Oh boy.
Never mind. Neither
let's-
here nor there.
Let's talk about this guy.
Oh, man. You got it.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, because you tried to spin. I see what you did there.
I got it.
Yeah, let's talk about him.
Okay.
You and your little helmet friend.
Me and my helmet friend. You see my helmet friend?
It really looks cool next to you, though.
Yeah, because we're Go Birds over on this side.
I mean, like, let it rock. It was cool where it was at. Look, look, look. He just rocking out with you.
All right, so Kanye. I don't even know where to begin this. So Kanye went to the Grammys, right? And
Kinda.
he wasn't invited. He didn't have seats. He didn't have tickets. So he walked the red carpet and then was basically told, like, I don't know what to do for you. You got to go. And his wife, Bianca, wore nothing. Like, literally a piece of lace fabric that wrapped around her that was a joke of a dress. Because she was basically naked. Like, entirely naked. So, of course, this caused a huge stir on the internet. Everybody was talking about Bianca and Kanye. Because before the Grammys, back last fall, we had heard rumors that they had separated. We had heard rumors that they were living in separate countries. But what was clear from Grammys night is that they were definitely all over each other, back to the same PDA type of things that they normally do. Real gross stuff. And it made the internet talk. So, Kanye being Kanye, in response to the internet talking about him, decided to go on a huge Twitter rant Friday night.
That's why he did that?
Yes. So his first tweet was talking about Bianca and the dress and, basically saying, like, I have the baddest bitch in the world. Nobody could wear what she wore. She's the baddest. Whatever. And then it quickly just, like, spiraled. You know, how Kanye does. I can't even remember half the tweets. He started talking about Elon Musk. He started talking about a bunch of stuff all over the place. At one point,
let me give a little context, because before you say a bunch of stuff, it was like the Elon Musk support. It was I'm a Nazi. It was my brother P. Diddy. Everybody's pussy because everybody's watching him rot and nobody's saying anything. We watched that with Chris Brown, and back then I was pussy, but I'm not pussy no more. It's Chris Brown forever. It started with stuff like that.
Yep. And then he finally said at one point during the rant, I just said everything. I just typed everything that came to my mind. Like, he literally tweeted, I just typed everything that came to my mind and the world didn't end, or something along those lines. Like, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm untouchable. I can say whatever I want. You know, the same type of mentality that Kanye's been running with for a while. What are your thoughts? I don't even know what, I'll be honest, I don't even know what more to say about this because, like the last story where we decided that, like, this is just Marcus's MO now. This is Kanye's MO. He's been doing this for years. I didn't even bother to read through half the tweets because I'm like, this man is all over the place. So, of course, he went on another Twitter rant because he loves to go on Twitter rants. Half of the tweets didn't make sense because his brain doesn't make sense half the time. So, I don't even know what to say about this man anymore because this is just what he does, and I'm tired of talking about him because I don't want to try to rationalize an irrational being.
Well, there's something you just said after your little meltdown that I highly agree with, that I tell people all the time, and you know this. It's not our job to understand crazy. If you understand crazy, too well, you might actually be one of them because it's not rational. It's not based on things that follow a specific pattern. Even though there are things that seem to be frequent with him, the randomness of how he delivers doesn't give you a clear thought pattern. It just shows you crash out, crash out, crash out every time I get emotional. It starts to seem manic, and then mania starts to feel like an excuse for him. Like, you don't even want to give him manic no more. So I think when you say, like, yeah, you sick of talking about it because you don't understand it and it's the same thing, and the things that you do understand is what you understand, and that's enough for you, I think that's fair to say.
Oh, that was one of the tweets. Apparently, Kanye is not bipolar. He's autistic.
Yep, his wife made him get checked out.
His wife got him checked out because she said that she knew people who had been bipolar, and like what he was exhibiting did not seem like what she was familiar with from bipolar. And now he says that he's been diagnosed with autism and not bipolar. So I thought it was interesting that you said, mania with that.
He has some form of bipolar in him, and I'm not somebody to diagnose somebody, but I also deal with certain communities professionally. So I know a little bit about a little bit, and he's a public figure, and we get to literally watch the timeline and the patterns, or the diversity in the patterns. He has some of that, and he might be autistic too. He's a genius. He sees sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think autism is a reach, but I think you're making it an excuse. Not you. Them. I think she's trying to diagnose him out of the other diagnosis and saying, well, this is this. Because she literally said it doesn't seem like the other people I know that have it, like as if everything exists the same and everybody that has the same diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird. I think which was what he did, which is cowardly, and he always finds a way to do some sucker shit when he's trying to act like he's so bold and unstoppable. A barrage of his tweets were, don't call me, don't say nothing to me, don't DM me, don't text me, don't tweet me, or I will never talk to you again in life. Because I don't want to hear your opinion. I don't care. All of y'all are broke and controlled. And I was like, so he's sick of people. You know how they say if your friends is going through something, or if you don't bash them, call them, right? Don't tweet about them. Hit them up. See if they okay. If they're mistaken or misinformed about some things, try to educate them or put them in contact with people that can help them figure out what makes sense, right? He's actually saying he's never letting anybody do that again. He doesn't want understanding. He wants yay. So at that point, we don't have to explain it. We have to either support, don't support, or whatever, but he has moved to Japan, and he's hanging with his little naked chick, and he's still as insecure as he was when he was in his mom's house.
Yep.
Which is why he parades her the way that he does. And which is why him and her both said it was her choice to go naked. But he said that him and his designer spent hours putting together that outfit, and right before she took off her fur, there was a moment where she literally looked like she was hesitant to do it.
Yep.
And she turned around and looked at him, and he said, bitch.
Take that shit off.
Never mind. Next topic. But yeah, I'll give one of these.
You need to leave.
But I don't even think he was trying to go to the Grammys. I think he wanted a moment. I think the car never moved. And the crazy thing is, he's been running around in these platinum fucking Maybachs, and he just gave 2 of them to the game. I don't even know what the purpose was of that. Like, he just got them made. Supposedly, they beautiful cars. And he like, yeah, my 2 American Maybachs, I'm giving them to the game. Make sure he gets the right paperwork. Like, what kind of shit was that?
I don't.
And why did you say that publicly? And don't the game still have motherfuckers suing him that he try to act like he ain't got no money and you try to pay off his debt? What are you doing? You give him bigger tax problems. Like, I don't understand what's going on. So, like you said, we're not supposed to.
Nope.
Now, you introduced this one.
All right, so obviously Super Bowl weekend, Kendrick Lamar will be performing for the halftime performance, and in anticipation of that, he sat down with Apple Music to have an interview.
Ebro and Nadeska, shout out to them.
Absolutely. So, as I'm sure many of you know, Kendrick does not do many interviews. He's not somebody who does a lot of promotional press runs. Even when he's doing big releases, he's not necessarily going to stop and do a Breakfast Club or
right.
anything like that. So, because of that, he's one of those artists that, you know, we don't get to hear the stories behind his art very often, but we know by the art itself and the caliber of the art that there's a lot of thought and intention that goes into it. So when we get to hear these stories or get to hear him speak for himself about his art, we automatically want to listen. And this interview definitely did that. So shout out to Ebro. Shout out to the whole Apple Music team. They did a great job with this. And shout out to Kendrick, because he could have taken this interview in a lot of different directions. But I thought, especially considering everything that's been going on with Kendrick and Drake and all of that's playing out, I thought that Kendrick was very deliberate in keeping this interview about him and about his movement and his music and what his side of everything was. So I thought that this interview was great. I thought that we learned a lot about Kendrick's process and what his thought process was during this entire last year run. But what did you think about the interview and what did you learn?
I think that every time Kendrick speaks, even if you go back to the Noisy documentary or whatever that they did on him, he's always thoughtful, he's always introspective, he's always focused on the art form, and I think that came across in everything that he said. They asked him, even some of the youth in the audience asked him questions that seemed like simple questions, but he gave them so much in return, right? Mm-hmm. And when I say simple, I mean like he could have literally gave them a type of answer that they probably expected and they'd be satisfied with, but he made them think more about what they asked him by just, you know, engaging the way that he really feels about it. I thought that was interesting. I thought what was awesome, which you kind of see by the way he's been carrying all of last year and this year, he looked at the whole battle as a game. He said it. Mm-hmm. He said it's just sport. I'm just like, he literally is just up there sparring and having fun while tearing somebody's career apart.
Right.
Like, it's so Kendrick to talk like that because he is the sensei. Like, if you really pay attention to what he does, he's that. He's that guy that, like, he just picks shit apart. So I just love the interview. I love how he represents himself. I think that you see certain things when you see artists sit down and talk that don't talk all the time. Mm-hmm. And we've seen Drake talk a couple times since all of this has happened on relaxed platforms.
Yes.
And he always says something weird. He always says something that doesn't make no sense. He always has a point to prove. He always has to throw something in the mix to combat what's going on outside of that interview.
Well, I think every time that Drake does an interview, he's trying to create a narrative.
I mean, and we don't have it on the list, but Drake just showed up on stage with bullet holes in the front of his hoodie and smoke coming out the back of it. Yep. And told everybody he's still alive.
Yep. And then what did his shirt say the next day?
Where do you see my...
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, you learn a lot about these artists and their audiences when these artists sit down and talk. Yep. You learn a lot. You realize why Drake is a Drake and why Drake fans are Drake fans when you realize that Drake is so emotional. Mm. Like, it was cool to be emotional, but, like, this motherfucker is ridiculous.
Whole new level of emotion.
That he can't even be logical or work based on morals because his emotions override it. Yep. And then you have a Kendrick that seems so clear, so evolved, so much like he's still growing in the right directions, so to speak. And he presents everything so well. It's like, yo, this is why you lost to him, bro.
And I feel like at this point, that's all we're looking for is like, Drake, just accept it. Accept it, take accountability, and move on. Like, it's okay to say that you lost.
Speaking of people that need to accept the loss to Kendrick, our next topic.
Lil Wayne?
Yes.
What a segue.
You see what I did there? Killed that. No, man, this is crazy. Like, ever since the Super Bowl has been announced for Kendrick, Lil Wayne has found a way every single month to insert himself into the conversation.
Yes.
And he did it the slick way, the back way. Well, I just got to say something for my fans. But he still was saying a little weird stuff in that one. And then he said something else where he's like, well, you know, I had to take a break and realize that it was my fault because nobody told me I had that and I got to keep working. And it was like, all right, that was a little shaky the way that you put the whole thing, but we get your point. That's cool. He could have left it there.
Yep.
Since then, it's been, well, no, we not going to be in town for that and this, that, and the third. And no, we ain't tripping about that, you know.
Which, I thought you were just a sports media personality a hot second ago. And now
Just
you're
got a
not going to
ESPN
be
situation.
in
NFL
town
situation.
for the Super Bowl.
It don't
Okay.
make no sense.
Okay.
So then well, we got an announcement coming up this week. You know what I mean? We got something for y'all on Thursday. We ain't worried about that game. Why are you attaching your rollout to the Super Bowl still? Why does it feel like you still shooting at Kendrick? And then he says, and then we find out the Carter 6 is coming out.
Okay.
So I guess it's out now, right?
Oh, it's out already?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Wait, seriously?
I think it dropped on Thursday.
Wait, seriously?
Look it up, man. Maybe I'm tripping.
I'm about to. My hands are full.
But I think it dropped. Either it dropped on or dropped today. It's supposed to be around. Y'all know in the chat. But he was announcing an album, and it feels retaliatory.
For a Carter album? Like, that's kind of crazy.
It feels retaliatory. It feels like I'ma still have my moment. Since y'all ain't give me this, watch this. And it's like, why not just be the superstar, rock star you always been? You're a trendsetter. Stop chasing one moment. You niggas was using Grammys as sippy cups and piss jars. Like, now you care? It's amazing, yo. It don't look good on Wayne. It really don't look good on him. It make him look like a sore loser and a sucker. And
he did not drop the Carter 6.
But it's coming soon. He made the announcement on Thursday.
He dropped the Tweaker remix.
He's on a Tweaker remix.
That dropped on Friday.
He bodied that.
So maybe that was part of the...
That's not the announcement. The announcement was the Carter 6.
Okay.
So I don't know the date when it's supposed to drop, but that was the announcement for Thursday. But you keep tying everything into the Super Bowl. But you're not going to be at the Super Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl, yo.
It'll be here on June 6th.
See? That's crazy. So he announced it. I saw somebody post merch for the Eagles Super Bowl that clearly they made themselves.
Okay.
And they didn't have no Y in Taylor Swift name.
How'd they spell it?
Tallor. Yo, y'all gotta stop printing your own shit without letting your girlfriend proofread it. Like, this is crazy, yo. Anyway, it's not a topic. It just, you know.
That doesn't even spell Taylor.
No.
Like, even the tailor that does your clothes has an I in it.
No, listen. It has to be something to provide the swing of the lure.
A. Hard A.
Yeah, like, it has to be
Tyler.
something, like, taller.
Tyler.
Tyler Swift.
Tyler Swift.
Tyler Swift.
Tyler.
They gonna grab that clip and it's gonna haunt us. We better stop.
I know.
You better stop that shit. But no, like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Wayne, like, and you gotta stop acting like you don't know what's going on. We're over it. Clearly, you know everything that's going on. You're just weird, and that's okay.
Let's touch on this one. In other weird internet dealings.
Right. So, we had a situation where when Big Meech was locked up, 50 got the life rights or the bio rights to the BMF story. Since then, he has casted Little Meech as the main character to play his father in the BMF story, which is a series that's been going on for multiple seasons, which has caused Big Little Meech to become a star. Nice looking young man, certain kind of personality. The women been on him. He's been caught on ring cameras with other women. He's been running his little, you know what I mean, doing his 1-2. And it's funny because we actually, if you're in hip hop for real and you somebody that's been around for a while, you watch Lil Meech grow up. Because he was always on camera with his dad back in the day, before his dad went to jail. So it was good to see, and it was entertaining, and it's like, all right, so 50 gonna make sure that Meech them cool. You know? He got Southwest T is involved. All right, cool. He got Lil Meech involved. Mom is on board. Maybe when Big Meech come home, he come home and plays himself in the show. Like, we excited about the whole movement. And then suddenly...
Dun dun dun.
Southwest T pops up with, I think it was Supreme's son. And then Meech come home and pop up with Rick Ross. And gets announced for Rick Ross's, and announces Rick Ross is going to perform at his Welcome Home concert and all of that. But it all looked really weird because you know that 50 is the type of individual that don't like you standing next to nobody he don't fuck with or he don't fuck with you. It just is what it is. So shortly thereafter, 50's response or retaliation was to post a rat and say, I think I'm Big Meech. While proposing the question, who is Tammy such and such? To which Blue Da Vinci answered that and called the OG whose case that Meech and this Tammy woman was supposed to be on. And they're saying that Meech used her as a third party to rat on somebody and convict somebody for 27 years. Well, he didn't get convicted of the case that they put him on because Meech's relationship with this Tammy woman would have violated that. But they added the new situation onto part of that case to get him 27 years. And he's on the phone with Blue talking about it and all that. So they're saying that 50's a rat. I mean that Meech is a rat, right?
Okay.
That goes around. Rick Ross responds. Rick Ross says, niggas is broke. Niggas ain't getting no money. You worried about who I'm taking a picture with. If you need a job, say you need a job. You allowed to bring your Versace car to my car show. He said, and them little homies, I know your little homies, man. I know they got a Toyota 4Runner or something they want to bring through. Like, he was talking crazy. Talking about Yayo and Uncle Murder and them. But I just think it's real interesting because it's one of those things where it's like Blue Da Vinci and a few others have been running around for a while saying that Meech got something funny with his paperwork. Right? He did his dub, so everybody probably never minded it because that was his original sentence, and it's like, well, he maxed out his time, it seems like. But these suggestions have been around for a while, and 50 was aware of all of that. 50 knows everything that's going on the internet. So why does it take for him to stand next to your enemy for you to out him if you doing it for the right reasons? Or are you just like, fuck it, I'm petty?
Well, so let me break this down one more step.
Okay.
So part of 50 Cent's expose, let's say, was he posted a screenshot of text conversations between him and Lil Meech.
Yeah.
Where Lil Meech was basically being like, yo,
I'll take my shirt off my back for you.
Right.
Yeah.
That photo shouldn't be a thing. Like, I've done so much for you. And not only that, but like Big Meech needed money when he came home and Rick Ross gave him a loan.
Yeah.
Basically, was what Lil Meech was saying.
I think to be a part of the car show.
Sure. Well, I mean, regardless of what the terms of the arrangement were,
right.
Basically he got some money out of Rick Ross, which, like, if you're just coming home from jail, you already sold your life rights to 50 Cent, and now you're home and you don't have any money to sit on. Like, why wasn't 50 Cent giving you money?
Well, that's the thing. The life rights was sold to was given to the Tammy lady, and she was actually producing the show with 50 Cent. So all of that's weird already, because now he's ready to put out her documentary exposing Meech. But It's all really, really weird. It's all really, really weird. And as far as what Lil Meech was saying, he was saying a lot of shit that seems like it's real. Like, he's caught in the middle of some bullshit, and whether we was gonna have another season of the show or not, you haven't put anything in my dad's pocket for him to have loyalty to you when he can go get a bag. He's a hustler.
Right.
He's a hustler. He could have turned around 2 weeks later and said, man, Rick Ross could suck a dick. You don't even know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what if he burnt it? Then what? Like, it wasn't what's going to happen.
Well, and to me, like, I don't get into the whole street whatever anyway. So, but to me, that whole side of it is kind of irrelevant. Like, and I know it's not in reality, but to me, it's irrelevant because, especially if you were working with this lady to produce the show, so you already knew about whatever this paperwork blunder is ahead of time, before you got involved with Big Meech and Little Meech, and now all of a sudden, it's going to be an issue?
And they're saying that the reason she's willing to tell all is because part of the reason she had the rights, you know, the control over the rights or whatever was done with his license of his image was because they were in a good relationship. They had a relationship, an intimate one. But when he came home, he went back to Lil Meech mom house.
Oh.
But that might be because you're in cahoots with 50 Cent. Like, nobody knows if, like, there was a conversation between Big Meech and Lil Meech. We heard the part when Lil Meech says, his dad said, yo, go get that roll. But you might not have heard the part where he said, yo, fuck how I feel about homie. Get this money right now.
Right.
He might have never had no allegiance to 50.
Right.
And I think that's the part everybody's skipping. I think people think that because he gave his son an opportunity, yeah. But both of these niggas is high-level street niggas. And their loyalties are not bought that easily. 50's isn't either.
Well, and my bigger issue is at some point, 50, you got to stop handling business like street business.
Well, it's the way he's won so far.
But
50 only knows one way to promote, and it's drama. He does it with TV.
But my point is, when you're doing that with real business, at some point it is going to bite you in the ass. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily that point, but it's coming soon.
I mean, I think that there's certain things that 50 gets away with, where it's like anybody else will probably get questioned and canceled if that's really a thing for. And 50 really doesn't get scrutiny for it because we look at it like, yo, that's just 50. And I think we're getting to a point where he's going to cross that line. But I don't think this is the portion of it because his brand is always built on G-Unit.
The only reason that I think that this might be one of the straws is because if you look at his like TV empire at this point, BMF is probably the biggest part of it currently.
The Powerverse is ever evolving and going to get syndicated.
However, how many shows does the Powerverse currently have on TV?
2 or 3.
Are you sure?
Not sure.
I thought they just finished.
They still have a season for a couple of the ones, and they have a new show. Yeah, it's a couple more coming out. They're not done. Unless he's beefing with Stars again. And that's the thing. He does that there.
And that's my point. At some point, Stars is going to get super fed up. And if they just lost BMF...
And he's going to go to Netflix.
I don't know that Netflix is going to take a chance on him. Netflix would much rather pay a creator that literally comes from nothing that they don't have to pay very much, and they'll only pay them once. Like, he has a great thing going with Stars. HBO is not going to pick up the Power Universe.
No, they wouldn't.
No. And Netflix won't pay as much. So if you really think about the, like, landscape of everything, he's not in the position of leverage that he thinks he is.
Prime.
What?
Prime.
Again, pays less than Netflix.
I hear you, but we talking about Stars. Like, he owns...
And Stars is affiliated with Prime already.
He owns now his own studio like Tyler, right?
Yeah.
Which means he's going to be able to do more with less now. That might be part of his thought process.
I've never known 50 Cent to be the do more with less type.
Now, when I say less, I'm not saying scaling back production quality, but now I own all of this shit. I'm not paying the extras.
No, but he wants the money to line his pockets.
Yeah, but percentages are percentages. 30% of stars versus 70% of mine.
Distribution. Where are you distributing it? The reason you have stars is to distribute.
Yeah, but he actually made stars because nobody had stars before him. That's what's crazy. Stars, he used to literally, every time the season was over and he was renegotiating, tell everybody that watches Power to unsubscribe from stars.
Yeah, but now Stars has merged. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, but he built that. That's my only argument. He built that. Single-handedly, the Power universe built that. They were not a player. They weren't competitive until he got over there. And he kept sticking them up. Eventually, that stick-up is going to run out. I think he's preparing contingency plans. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But, I don't think Meech likes 50. I don't think he ever liked 50. I think it's possible that before Meech ever went to jail, he didn't like 50. And it is what it is. Because he still hasn't tried to get 50 grace over any of this shit. He hasn't came out and said, 50, why you acting like that? His son got leaked text messages. That's it. Can we go to Irv now?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a good transition in a bad time.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to start this out with a moment of silence. You think that's appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a moment of silence real quick. Stop clicking for a second. Rest in peace, Irv Gotti.
Yeah, boy.
Irv has been such an overwhelming personality, and he's had moments that are so big that depending on when you were tapped into music, you might not even realize that he was the man before that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can see what he did with Ja Rule and Shanti them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huge moments. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Mind-blowing. He was able to give away hit records. Fat Joe talks about that. But he was part of Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
He was producing. You know what I mean? He's a part of DMX. He's a part of, like, so many monsters that the industry didn't even understand. Nobody wanted to sign Jay-Z. Irv was involved, right? Nobody wanted to sign X. Irv got laughed at. They got laughed at over X. At the labels. Like, what the fuck? He's barking. No, literally. Like, nobody wants to hear anybody bark. What are you talking about? He's a dog? So, like, Irv is a pioneer. He's somebody that sells your dream and has done that for so many people. The story he gives us about negotiating for his TV show on BT. And he says that he saw the show, he knew what it took to make the show, and he needed the budget, and he wasn't budging on a budget. And he said he wound up being able to get Jay-Z to walk into the meeting. And they asked Jay-Z his opinion about what they should do about Irv's situation. And Jay-Z said, you kidding me? Irv's a genius. Give him whatever the fuck he wants. He said these businessmen were so excited about being in a room with Jay-Z and taking pictures with Jay-Z and calling their family and FaceTiming their family and saying, hey, it's Jay-Z, that they gave Irv whatever the fuck he wanted. And he produced a TV show that was monumental for the culture, where he reenacted culturally legendary records and made them long-form stories. And that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like he knows how to get the deal done, and he's humble enough to say, sometimes I got to call in my little brother, and now that's now my big homie, and he got to run the play, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can learn so much about a Irv Gotti movie. Like Irv Gotti's movie would be just as exciting as your favorite rapper or rock star. Cause he's been through so many phases of the industry and he's been intricate in so many parts that it would just blow your mind. It'd be like some Forrest Gump shit. It would be like for that whole era, he was everywhere. And I didn't know it. Like, yeah, Irv was backstage. Irv was on the phone. Irv sent the email. You know what I mean? Like, it's always Irv. And I even hear people that knew him personally and that used to be around him in them rooms and they talk about him and they say, he was a lot. He was extra. But you know what comes with a lot and extra also when they talk about him? He was brilliant. He was always helping. He was always building. It takes something to make something, man. So, rest in peace, Irv Gotti. Anything you want to say about the brother?
No, I think you did a good job of capturing his brilliance and his impact on music and on the culture. And, you know, I think unfortunately this was a very untimely death. From what I've heard, it's something that possibly could have been prevented. So, you know, this just continues the call that especially black men, you got to get your health checked out. You got to take care of yourselves. You know, there's a lot of stigma around going to the doctor and, you know, at some point we just got to get over these things and make sure that we're taking care of our health because it's probably the most important thing there is.
I think part of what you're referring to is they said that Irv acknowledged he had a health scare and it was dietary related because of his conditions. And he replied that I'ma fucking live. Meaning that he's going to do what he wants until he's out of here. And, I mean, listen, man. You build up, and I mean, it could seem selfish because, of course, you got family. But he's built monuments in this culture and in society and in his family. If he wanted to go out how he lived, my uncle did it. My grandfather did it. It hurts, but that's just how some men think, yo. I don't know if he, like, it's like the person that jumps off the building. I don't know if when he took his last breath he regretted that, but he did it. And it is what it is. And I'm sure that just like when you cross that line legally for something that you believe in, you're willing to deal with the consequences of it because you know the reality of the situation. He wasn't stupid at all. So I just wish his family the best and hope that they mentally are able to get to a place to understand that sometimes us men can be foolish, but sometimes that foolishness is what makes us the men that you love and the people that's able to break barriers that nobody else is allowed to do. It's just a different kind of mindset, a different kind of stubbornness, a different kind of individual. And that's why I speak about my grandfather and my uncle sometimes. Because they was too stubborn to realize that they was black men and that something wasn't supposed to happen. And my dad, but my dad kind of conformed and did it. My uncle was wild and my grandfather was revolutionary. So it's just different. It's different. They gonna die how they live. Trust me.
All right, let's.
You don't like that at all.
Nope. Nope.
Take a certain kind of mindset. It's sad.
I said what I said.
It's sad. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not defending it. I'm just telling you.
I said what I said. All right, let's talk about Cassidy. Let's talk about Cassidy. Where is my graphic?
I wonder if we get flagged for it.
Oh, we can't play it.
That's crazy.
We definitely can't play it. But Cassidy dropped a first quarter recap freestyle. I don't know what to call it, but
It's the first of its kind. He did some new shit just now.
yeah. So the same way that they have like year-end recaps, where they recap the whole year, he did that for the first quarter of 2025. And Sam, what'd you think of it?
I think that only Cassidy, like Cassidy is the only person that would think of this, yo. And correct me, because I doubt he stole this from somebody else. If somebody's going crazy on TikTok, let me know. But just the way his mind works, right? To be like, yo, how can I start my own thing? Because he's always in the studio. He produces his own songs and records his own songs. So, like, how can I start something? And the crazy, he called this first quarter, which means he might do second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, as opposed to doing a year-end wrap-up that comes once a year. This is just so Cassidy to do, is what I'm saying. As somebody that grew up half a mile from me, this is some Cassidy shit to do. It's just really like, he cares about the sport so much that he overthinks it. Like, why did he have so much to say in January?
Well, and that's what I was going to say is, like, we're not even through the first quarter.
It's the first week of February.
We are 1 month into the year. I'm confused.
But he shows how he turns it. It's funny because the way he directs it, he swings into the year kind of ended this, and now we doing this. And then it's like, it sounds like so much, and you like, bro, that was 3 weeks.
Well, and that's what made me feel like he realized, like, oh, man, I forgot to do a year-end recap. Well, fuck it. Let me just do a first quarter, John. That's what it felt like to me.
Do you think it's going to just be first quarters from here out, or do you think you're going to do 4 quarters? Because I think Cass is obsessive when it comes to rapping.
Well, I think now that he started it, he's going to do 4.
I think the demand is going to create, like, if you do Freestyle Fridays every Friday or whatever your situation is, I think at some point you might have been trying to do it once a month. Now you got to do it every week type shit. You know what I mean? I think that this will be one of those things where whether he planned it or not, he's going to have to do this quarterly, especially if you get this much out of 4 weeks. I still don't understand that part. But it's so like, I can't stop saying it's some Cassidy shit to do.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, there was a lot of fodder in the last couple of weeks. Like, as a Philadelphian, you have the Birds going to the Super Bowl.
He definitely acknowledged that.
You have the plane crashing.
That was on there too.
You have a whole new presidency beginning and a whole bunch of executive orders coming out, which he spent a good deal of time on.
Yep. He started with a lot of political shit.
You have everything that's going on in hip-hop with the A$AP Rocky trial, the Diddy being behind bars. Like, all of that. Like, there's so many things that he can touch on, so I understand why it filled up a full track. I get it.
What did you think about the quality of what he spit? Did you think it was fire? Would you like to hear a second quarter after hearing this one? Like, how did it strike you? Did it seem like fishing, or did it seem like, yo, he kind of killed that?
It's Cassidy. I think that Cassidy is one of the top freestylers, period. So, I mean, it hit. I don't think it was Cassidy's best work. But, like, when you're comparing it to any of the other recaps, it hit.
Yeah,
it definitely hit.
It's hard to compare it to regular freestyles or regular songs because when you're running down a specific timeline, the way you got to bounce in and out of shit is a little bit different. So it's hard to be, like, dominant the whole time because you're going to have to storytell, right?
Right.
And storytelling comes with highs, lows, and in-betweens. And that, I mean vocally. Whereas in a freestyle, especially a Cassidy freestyle, he can bark the whole time.
Yep.
And you like, my God. And he'll tell a story, but he'll bark that bitch. It's like, oh, shit. I'm scared of that little nigga. So, yeah, man. Shout out to Cass. I fuck with it. I thought that it was so unexpected, I think, is what I'm trying to get at, too. That I forgot to mention. Like, I didn't see this coming at all. And then it was on 3 pages on my YouTube feed immediately. So I clicked one, and I'm like, oh, first quarter, crazy. He talked about Easy and Rim and them too. He actually mentioned Clarissa Shields. That was a crazy bar.
Yeah, that one was funny.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Shout out to Cass, man. He a spitter, and he's doing what spitters do. His name is Bars, so. It is what it is, man. Yo. That
What?
reminds me of something. No, I met a kid with a crazy name. I don't know if I should say it on here.
If it's a kid, you probably shouldn't.
But it's... Alright. I'm going to text it to you. Let's get to another topic, though.
All
Because when I could say it later and nobody will know it's a name. But I'm going to text it to you.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the Rocky trial since we just mentioned it. So the prosecutor has officially rested his case in terms of the A$AP Rocky trial. Just to remind the viewers at home, A$AP Rocky was charged with 2 felonies related to assault with a firearm. And this all stems back from a altercation between him and a former friend of his, also an A$AP Mob associate, A$AP Relly. And Relly is claiming that A$AP Rocky pulled a gun on him and grazed his knuckles when he fired it. So, as part of the prosecution, they called A$AP Relly to the stand to testify. This testimony ended up lasting 3 days due to a very lengthy cross-examination. Which all of that was kind of expected. This was going to be the meat of the case. And the reason that A$AP Rocky was so confident kind of became clear to everybody else. A$AP Rocky was a mess on the stand, even to the point where he accused the defendant lawyer of trying to spin him and trying to get him caught up, and all of these other things while he was responding to the questions. So overall, his testimony was not very compelling for the prosecution, or at least that's the vibes that we've been hearing from the court trial. And now the defense is starting to present their case, part of which involves calling A$AP 12. I believe was his name. 12E to the stand. On the stand, 12E said that it was a prop gun, which is the defense's allegation. And he also then said that, it doesn't fire, it's a prop gun. He also said that he was there for the entirety of the altercation and did not see any type of assault take place. So that right there was also pretty compelling for the defense. So all in all, things are definitely looking a lot better in terms of this trial for Rocky than when we last talked about it on Monday when things weren't looking too great. So what do you think about these new revelations, and do you think that A$AP Rocky is going to be okay?
There would be revelations. I think that what's not being explained about 12E is part of what Relly was saying was, if 12E wasn't there, I'd be dead. That's why 12E had to speak.
Right.
So considering that you're saying that 12E was the only reason you didn't get killed, he was interfering and this, that, and third, and he comes on and says he couldn't have killed you.
And that Relly was the aggressor.
Yes. It's very telling. And like you said before, and we've mentioned on here before, when you go to the trial and you go to testimony and all of that, Relly is insubordinate the entire time he's on the stand. He doesn't understand how to have a conversation. And then he's lying. When you referred to this earlier, he accused the attorney of trying to set him up and lie on him, and then it's proven that he said all the shit. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very strange. And with that 30 million should be light work, I should be able to get that with no problem testimony. Yeah, this is scary.
So what Sam was just referring to is something that Relly said, where he has an accompanying accompanying.
Oh my god.
I just said it. Accompanying.
Right.
Civil case that goes along stemming from the same allegation where he stands to potentially get a bunch of money from a payout settlement. But either way, the criminal investigation, while related, like if he was found guilty at criminal, it would impact the civil investigation. If he's found not guilty at criminal, it doesn't necessarily impact the civil investigation at all. Yep. So therefore, what Relly was saying was he doesn't really care about the criminal investigation because he's more concerned about the payout. He just wants the payout. He thinks the payout's going to be big.
Mind you, this is the same guy that found the shells from the supposed bullet 5 days after the police didn't find it.
Right.
And took it to the police himself.
Right.
Did he record himself? Did he have a third party with him? Did he have an expert with him? Like, how the hell?
Did you find gun casings that the police couldn't find?
Like, now we just going to say that these detectives that are high level don't know how to do their job and you're better than them.
Right.
That don't even make sense.
Right.
And that's what I kind of reserved commentary on a lot of whether he should took the plea deal and all of that. I thought it was weird, but like I always reserved the right to realize that rich niggas got great lawyers.
Well, and I think that was our stance on it.
We've seen this play out as if like yeah.
Was he's got to know something if he didn't take that plea deal. But the problem is,
you know how many people get hung because they can't afford motherfuckers that can do the private investigating or the research or the whatever have you to get them out of this shit, even when they didn't do nothing.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that's just taking plea deals because it's either this or don't come home for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, y'all not going to believe me, so my option is fuck or get fucked. And that's not easy. So, yeah, it's weird. Like, you have to be rich to beat a case. And it's a certain amount of money for each charge that it will take for you to beat it. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Justice system is wild.
But I am happy for A$AP Rocky that things are starting to look up. Again, you know, the judgment has not come down yet,
Right.
So we don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but things do seem to be looking a lot better.
I think that if you look down on Rocky for being a rapper or a potential criminal in this situation, you look down on Relly more when he speaks. Because he just seems like the worst type of fucking person or friend in the world. It's like, you could relate to the fact that, yo, he might be on bullshit, yo. I would hate for him to be my coworker. Like, he just feels like that when he's on the stand. Like, you ever try to explain something to somebody and they're like, I don't get it, though. Like, what you saying? Like, I mean, like, you saying this, but what does that mean? Like, no, I'm saying when you write this and you add these up, that equals to the total. Yeah, but what's the total for? No, because this space needs to be filled in, and it says total. That's what he feels like. He feel like you training a shift manager that shouldn't have been a shift manager. So imagine being a superstar and that's somebody that wants to be attached to you and expects to get money out of you.
Right.
You not even smack. You in the way. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Fair to say.
Fair to say.
So let's move on, man. Shout out to A$AP Rocky. Shout out to Rihanna. Don't stress them babies out. Hopefully this comes out with a great outcome. And whatever it is, Rocky signed up for it. He know what he got himself into. And as much as y'all want to say he a pretty boy, he's still a real nigga. So he going to have to walk his walk.
Yep.
He's still one of them. He going to punch something. And clearly, if he get convicted, it's possible he's still going to shoot something. Who knows? Not my place to say.
All right, let's get into the NBA.
Let's do it. Oh, this is crazy.
The trade deadline was this past week on the 6th. And there were a lot of really interesting moves made right at the end. So let me get to where we got to. Okay. So the last thing that we told you guys about was the De'Aaron Fox trade on February 2nd. Since then, there have been quite a few interesting trades. So Caleb Martin was traded from the Sixers away to the Mavericks for Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second round pick, which the Sixers will later trade away. So that right there, that trade in and of itself, I was pretty pleased with. We knew that Caleb Martin was going to be one of our big trade pieces. I did not assume that he was going to finish out the season as a Sixer. But also, Caleb Martin has not played very many games recently for the Sixers. He's been injured a lot. So I wasn't too sad to see him leave. I was excited to get a second round draft pick. But unfortunately, we did trade that away, like I said. Quentin Grimes is, however, a pretty good pickup for us. I'm interested to see how he'll end up fitting in and whether he sticks around or not. But I felt like that trade, kind of worked in our favor. What did you want to talk about this trade in particular?
No, I'm good. Keep going.
Okay.
You got a lot to get to.
I do. So moving on to other interesting trades that happened. Reggie Jackson.
Y'all got rid of Reggie Jackson?
Yes, we did. Did you miss this?
Oh, I like Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, so we traded Reggie Jackson to the Wizards.
Oh.
Yes. But we also traded away our 2026 first round pick. In return, we got Jared Butler and a 2027 second round, a 2028 second round, and 2 second rounds in 2030. So a bunch of rebuilding draft picks. Not mad at that.
I'm not saying Reggie Jackson wasn't expendable for you. I just like him.
He didn't really play too many minutes.
And that's the thing. But when he was in, he was effective and he was actually smarter. He had an IQ.
Yes, but considering where we are in the standings, I have no problem trading away veteran players that aren't part of the key franchise.
No, I'm not mad at it. I just like him. Like, I like him to lead the bench run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
As like a elder general that respects his position, that's not trying to be a star. I like that about him. So that's all.
And then finally, the Sixers also traded away KJ Martin, as well as a 2027.
Y'all traded all the Martins.
Yes, we did.
I got rid of all the Martins.
All the Martins.
Too much confusion.
Too
many
much.
Martins.
No more Martins.
No more Martins.
As well as a 2027 second round pick and a 2031 second round pick over to the Pistons. And for that, we just received money.
Picks be flying, yo. And you don't even know the impact until you decide what kind of draft class that is.
Yep. And that also freed up a lot of salary room for us. So if we wanted to, we could pick up some interesting free agents in the offseason.
Y'all are going to find another process to build because y'all pivoted from Embiid. That's what that is.
That's exactly what that is. That's what that tells me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I'm not necessarily mad at that at this point.
And Maxey is rocking.
Maxey's rocking. In other interesting news, there was a deal after the KJ Martin deal to the Pistons where the Pistons received Dennis Schroeder after the Warriors had traded him away.
Schroeder been on 14s in 48 hours.
Yep. And the Jazz actually ended up with KJ Martin. That's why I bring this up.
That's crazy.
So
that might be good for them.
Yeah.
I like KJ.
Yeah. I think that could be good for them.
He has to be groomed, but he'll be all right.
Let me get to the bigger trades. So the Bucks ended up getting Kyle Kuzma from the Wizards.
Crazy.
As well as Jericho Sims from the Knicks. They traded away Chris Middleton and AJ Johnson, as well as Daylon Wright. That was an interesting trade. It included 4 teams. I'm looking at it right now. It's kind of crazy. And the Lakers found their center in the young, up-and-coming Mark Williams.
Yes, go.
But they did have to trade away their new found rookie Dalton Connect.
Connect 4.
And Cam Reddish. So they are going to the Hornets, as well as a couple of picks.
I like to see Connect next to LaMelo. That'd be crazy.
That will be interesting to see.
That'd be crazy.
Then moving on to the big trade of the day, the Warriors got Jimmy Butler. We've been talking about the Jimmy Butler saga for quite some time now. We knew that he wanted to go to the Warriors, and it's interesting to see that they were able to get it done, especially after the Warriors had passed. Who did they pass on? I forget.
Oh, they passed on Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, that's who it was. So, the details of this trade are the Warriors get Jimmy Butler and 2 second-round picks. The Heat get Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Davion Mitchell, as well as a 2025 protected first-round pick. The Jazz ends up with Josh Richardson, and now KJ Martin's on the Jazz, as well as 2 second-round picks. The Pistons receive Lindy Waters and Dennis Schroeder, so now he is over on the Pistons. And the Raptors received PJ Tucker, who also moved around the league a lot in the last 2 days.
I want to clarify. Durant turned them down. Durant said he doesn't want to go, and I think because when negotiating someone at his level, he asked what the plan is, and I don't think he want to be attached to that, where they landed.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, he turned them down. So then they landed, because I think they put out all the fillers. Like, the Warriors went crazy. They tried to get everybody. At the last minute, it was like, yo, come play with stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, well, they got them. Oh, shit, that's a big trade. Well, we didn't see that one coming. And then it's like, Durant, what we doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So now they got Butler. How do you think Butler will impact them, though? What do you think? Do you think that's a goodie? Do you think that puts them in any sort of contention that they weren't in before?
I think Jimmy Butler with Steph is going to be fun to watch. I do think that they will mesh well together. And overall, I mean, the Warriors have been playing pretty well together as a unit. I think that Jimmy is going to add to that because, you know, as much as Jimmy is a scorer at the end of the day, he can also move the ball around and get it where it needs to be and help facilitate as well. So as long as Jimmy Butler is willing to play unselfishly, I think that this is going to be a great match. Do I think they'll make a run? I don't know. The West is so tough right now that I still think OKC is going to end up on top. But I think that this move definitely made the Warriors more competitive for this year than they were previously.
All right, question.
Yeah.
Warriors are known for firepower, and one of the greatest shooters ever is aging. Do you think that they benefit more from grabbing another shooter, which they have young shooters there now? Or do you think that the physicality, the rebounding, and the playoff mentality that comes with Jimmy outweighs necessarily just getting a pure shooter or scorer?
I mean, I think that the Warriors in recent years have kind of changed the way that they wanted to play. Like, they used to be the team that shoots threes, period. End of gameplay. But once they traded away Poole.
And what's the name?
Yeah. Yeah, what's his name?
Damn, that's crazy.
I know, we're both forgetting his name. And he was a big part of their organization for so long.
What's my bad, Dave? Yo,
light skin with curly hair.
All right.
This is gonna kill me. But once they traded him away, not Steph, but
I'm about to find his name.
Klay Thompson. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Once they traded away Klay, they kind of changed their mentality in the way that they play. They wanted to play less having 2 shooters on the floor. They wanted to rely less on that 3-point and have a more variety of options available. And I think that this is in line with that mentality. So No, I think that I don't think that they're necessarily should have gone for another shooter over Jimmy Butler. Should they have gone for a younger player? Maybe, but I think that they're in the win now mentality, and I honestly think that this might be a lineup to get them in the place that they need to be.
Another question.
Yeah.
We know that as great as Draymond is as a role player and an underrated player, you know, it's a great piece, right?
Mhm.
Does this put Draymond on notice to be a little more expendable, shape up and ship out type of energy, because Jimmy Butler is aggressive, is physical in the post, and can do offensively things that you can't do. And he's a bruiser. He's one of them. You hurt my guard, I'm gonna lay you down.
I think this takes pressure off of Draymond Green.
Okay.
Because if you think about the fabric of the rest of their team, Draymond Green had to be that all the time. And when Draymond wasn't on the court, that absence was felt.
I like that take.
So I think that this actually takes the pressure off of Draymond Green and makes them have a more well-rounded lineup, so that when Draymond isn't in, you still have that defensive dog type of presence with Jimmy.
So they become the Bash Brothers.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That's my thought.
That's crazy. I like it. I like that. I'm not mad at that one. That's a good one. That's a goodie.
Yeah.
That's a goodie. Let's go. I didn't want to interrupt too much because there's a lot on the board, but go ahead.
No, yeah. I mean, that was kind of the end of the trades. Of course, there were other trades that I didn't mention, but I think I hit most of the big ones, so we can move on.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Let's talk about the All-Star.
I mean, please do.
All right, so I need to bring up the list to do this. We've already talked about the All-Star format plenty of times. We mentioned who the selections were on Monday, but
Roster.
this Thursday, the teams were drafted as far as the rosters for the actual tournament. So, I am going to pull those up. This looks old. No, okay. This is Rising Stars, that's why. Here we go.
My phone is going crazy. My bad, bro.
All right, so for Team Shaq, Shaq's theme was taking the veteran selections. So his team consists of LeBron James, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, James Harden, and Jaylen Brown. Team Kenny decided to go with as he put it, the players who actually want to play. But really it was the young players in the league. So he ended up with Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, and Tyler Hero. Mm-hmm. And then Charles Barkley, Team Chuck, he decided to go with the international players. So his team consists of Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think I might have said it that time. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Pascal Siakam, Alperen Sengun, Karl Anthony Towns, and Donovan Mitchell. Whew. That was a lot of names.
Yeah, especially in the last one.
Yeah, so what do you think of these teams, and which team do you think is going to end up winning the 4-team tournament, with the 4th team being the winner of the Rising Stars tournament?
Rising Stars game, right?
No, they have a tournament too.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Pardon me. I think that pull it back up. You changed.
Oh, sorry.
I think that there's an argument for any one of these teams to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to Team Shaq, it's like LeBron and Anthony, who, you know, They peanut butter and jelly, right?
Mm-hmm.
They recently got separated a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden's a scorer, but you got Steph and LeBron next to each other, and they just know how to win.
Right.
Then you have the young guns that are just going to probably fly around and score 42 points off of fast breaks. And then you had an international league where it's like, this is just a different level of scoring. And it includes Shea. Right?
Yeah.
So I think I would go with I would like to watch Team Kenny play more, but I believe Team Shaq. No, I believe Team Chuck will win. Because I'm looking at Jokic, Atatum Kempo, and Wnba and Shea. The top four on there, right? All matchup problems. All four of them are bigger matchup problems than any other top four. Look at it.
I mean, I think Team Chuck is tall in a way that Team Kenny is not.
And Shea is on the sticks.
Yeah, honestly, I think that Team Chuck is going to end up winning.
Yeah, like when you really
If I'm
watch
being
it,
honest.
the most boring person on here is Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
That's crazy. And I love Mobley, and like we can go down the list. Like they're all stars, right?
Oh yeah.
But Team Chuck is like matchup problem after matchup problem. It's like ISO after ISO. Like let's just take turns
Yeah.
posting up somebody or stepping out, making somebody step out the paint that's not used to being out the paint. Like all of those are matchup problems.
Could you imagine if Team Chuck had Sabonis instead of Karl Anthony Towns?
Stupid.
That would be crazy.
Stupid. But Cat is crazy.
I mean,
Because
yeah, and that's nothing against Cat.
Cat winds up shooting threes all night and everything from the elbow extended. He don't even go in the paint on his team.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Shea
It's just
will
with
be
the style of play.
Shea will be in the paint more than him.
Yeah.
Is Siakam?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think Sabonis would have fit this team's style of play a little better, but Karl Anthony Towns will still be great.
No, it's going to be.
He deserves to be there.
It's
I
going
wanna
to
be
be
clear.
nasty because these are high-level basketball players. They know how to fill in gaps.
Right.
So it's like, I'm going to just do what I do, and I might get 30, or he might get 30. We might both get 30.
Oh, I didn't realize that Candace Parker gets to coach the winning team of the Castrol Rising Stars tournament.
Awesome. Shout out to Candace. Love Candace.
That's heavy. I like that.
One of the GOATs. We love Candace over here.
Yes, we do.
But no, I think that, what do you think about the format overall?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sold on the format. Hi, Juan. How's it going?
Yo, Juan.
I don't necessarily think that this format change, this tournament style is going to change the things that we don't necessarily like about All-Star. And I understand that it's not timed. It's like a 40-point limit, and, that's supposed to speed things up and keep it from being the, the complete shootout fest. But I think ultimately, the big complaints about All-Star is that there's no defense, and there's nothing about this tournament style that encourages more defensive play necessarily. And ultimately, you never want to see a player get hurt at All-Star. Let me be very clear. And playing this many games with a smaller bench, like usually the All-Star game, it's only 2 teams, so you have a huge bench. Some players only get like 3 minutes, 5 minutes in the game. This, you definitely won't see that, so that's great that you get to see more players play more minutes. But at the same time, it does open them up to more potential injuries. And, knock on wood, I just hope that everybody stays healthy this All-Star, tournament.
So let me be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
I watch a lot of platforms. You know that I watch it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Part of what they said was, why not make it the Americans versus the international players? Because you see how that worked in international play, whether that was FIBA or FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
or the Olympics, right? And what they actually did, and like we seen it, we discussed this off camera with how they picked their teams. One went young, one went vet, one went Euro, right?
Yes.
I think they actually did that, and I think that actually does make it more competitive.
I agree with you there.
I think that somehow they found a way, like they probably tried to figure out a way to do it that way, and was like, yeah, but then there's a middle ground that's not being addressed to be able to carry over in the tournament the way we want to, so let's do the young guns.
Yep.
And I think that's how we got there. I think that their production value was so high, or their talent is so high, that they presented it in a way where it was like they all picked a side, but I think that was strategic. I think it's like debate club. You ain't got to believe in it. You just got to be on that side. And it makes for good debate. Right?
Yep.
And that's the basis of these shows. So I think that's what it is. I think that it was more intentional than people want to grasp onto it. I didn't say this to you when we had the conversation earlier because I didn't want you to steal my take.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I think that was completely intentional. Like, yeah, let's give them the Americans versus the international versus the younger. And at some point when you get to the bottom of the list, it gets a little weird, but they was pretty much true to that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the last topic of the night.
Oh, man.
We've been talking about it for months now. Football, baby. The Super Bowl is here. It is Super Bowl weekend. My Birds are playing on Sunday. And they are going to kick ass.
Fuck.
What?
Ass fuck. Go ahead.
I can say ass. You've been cursing the whole day.
Yeah, I've been wilding today. It's a Saturday.
My Eagles are going to win. They're going to beat the Chiefs. You've heard it here first. This is going to be a close game, however. Let me be clear. It's the Super Bowl. It's Patrick Mahomes.
It's Taylor Swift.
It's Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce. You can never count them out. Let me be clear. Betting against them is never something I want to do. However, this weekend, I think my Birds have it. Our defense has been great for the second half of the season. Our offense, I mean, we have so many threats. Our passing game looked good last week. We still have Saquon Barkley. He's well rested. Jalen Hurts has, definitely been playing through a lot of injuries, but I think last week told us that he was on the mend, and he was starting to feel more comfortable. He was starting to really be back where he wanted to be after his most recent concussion and then following injuries in that game. But yes, he looks great. I really feel good about where we are going into this Super Bowl. I have it the Birds. I think that it's going to be a close game. I think we're going to end up around 27-24. What do you think? What's your prediction?
You know me, I ain't got a dog in the race. But
Clearly, because you gave me my balloon back.
Yeah, you won't have me looking crazy. But I do want the Eagles to win because I go to work every day and I'm in traffic every day and I'm in the gas stations and the stores every day with people that are Eagles fans.
Go Birds.
And if you're from Philly, you just want you want the Eagles to win so that you see 2 weeks to possibly a month of people treating each other nicely and
Absolutely.
not being angry.
Absolutely.
Losing during, having a losing season and not making it to the playoffs is way better in this city than making it to the Super Bowl and losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. Like, everybody's going to be angry. So,
especially to the Chiefs.
So, yeah, I want the Eagles to win. And that's another thing. We seen the last time they was in there with the Chiefs, and we also seen when they lost to the Patriots at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe that that's going to be part of the Eagles' legacy is to come back and beat the big bad wolf,
Yeah.
on the second time around or whatever have you. I think that the Eagles will take it. I think that when it comes to living in the moment, the Chiefs are more experienced at being there as constructed. But I think the Eagles have so many pieces that say first place, first place, first place, first place, second place, third place, fourth place, first place, that might outweigh a little bit of that Mahomes magic that we love so much. I think that's how I feel. And when I say first place, second place, all that, I'm talking about by position.
Right.
Or by
No, I
definition.
gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm wishing the Eagles the best and round with the Eagles, but I just want to see a great game. I'm not big on commercials. I'm definitely tapped in to see what Kendrick do because you know what's crazy about this, and I'm glad I thought about it. I'm glad I mentioned Kendrick, right? Because that wasn't part of the plan. I've seen Kendrick live, just like a majority of the greatest performers in hip hop. I've been live at the show. I've been on the floor at the show, very close to the stage, caddy to the stage. K, some of them tickets with her, we was at huge shows. We right there next to the stage, perfect vision. Right?
Yep.
I've seen masterful production out of Kendrick in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
For the damn tour.
Yep.
Right? At a high level.
That's why this is gonna be stupid.
He knows he's not a rapper doing a Super Bowl halftime show. He's a rapper by trade, but he's
a storyteller.
Production quality is next level.
Yes.
When he's going city to city.
Yes.
Do you know what he's going to do on the Super Bowl stage when he's in complete control, him and his company?
There's gonna be so much to analyze.
Oh my goodness.
So much to analyze. I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness.
Because, if we thought the Kendrick and Friends show was crazy.
That was low production value with a lot of good tricks.
Exactly.
A lot of great production tricks.
The production alone on this is going to be insane.
Because if you look...
I can't wait.
If you look at the Kendrick and Friends setup, it was so wide open and it was live and it was a lot. Mm-hmm. They couldn't move things. Mm-hmm. Now go to HBO, I think it was, when they show what they did for the Beyonce, what was it, the Beyonce Super Bowl joint or the Rihanna one? And they show the whole process of trying to fit all of this into 13 minutes.
Yep.
And they show you these people that, volunteers and otherwise, rush these huge sets out on the field, position them perfectly, then rush them off the field. Do you know what he's going to do with that? When the man that's been running the Super Bowl production at halftime for the last 36 years is the guy he has to consult?
It's going to be epic.
It is going to be a zoovie. He's trying to go top 5.
With SZA too? Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Possibly top 3 once you think about SZA, but I think what nobody's talking about is that he already posted he bringing a gang with him. He posted he bringing what's the name back together? What was they click name when it was him, Q, Ab Soul, and all of them? What was their name? Oh fuck, damn! But they coming. They're gonna be there. J-Rock. They all gonna be there, okay? You know what we gonna hear on Super Bowl Sunday?
Black Hippie.
Black Hippie. He bringing Black Hippie back.
I'm so excited.
You know what we gonna hear on Super Bowl Sunday?
Win, 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 win. That's all I wanted to hear. Oh, I'm so excited.
Do you know how crazy that is? And mind you, you was with me early when we heard J-Rock shit, and that was a record that we knew was built for this.
Yep.
And his young boy that he put on that used to be his hype man that took the flag and ran it up the motherfucking planet, right? Mm-hmm. Now has an opportunity to bring him out and say, win. Win, 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 win. Fuck all that shit. Which they ain't going to be cussing. They going to have to bleep that. Because J-Rock going to do it.
I know. I was going to say, J-Rock's probably going to say fuck everything else.
It's a 5-second delay. J-Rock going to get his shit off.
Everything else.
What? Like, do you know how monumental that is for them? This is a label full of black men from the streets that came together no matter who's affiliated with who. which is heavy over there. Like, yo, this is monumental, yo. I'm so excited for halftime. And I know we're going to have a great game. I know I created a whole nother segment into the halftime show. But, like, I'm hip-hop. And after watching that interview and him keep saying, man, he do it for the art. He care about the art. And then hearing that they have complete creative control as a unit.
Right.
I'm like, oh, they about to act stupid.
Yep.
And a lot of y'all got to look. When they asked if he's going to be able to perform the song, the motherfucker on the committee said, we told Snoop not to crip walk and throw up gang signs, but he did it and nobody died. So either way, we really don't push back. They can do what they want. So just stay tuned. It's going to be lit.
It's going to be lit.
Win, 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 win. All that win, 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 win. Stop thinking that music. Huh?
One final thing that you forgot to weigh in on. Do you have a score prediction?
Score prediction, Eagles win by 8+.
High scoring game, low scoring game?
Like 38-30, 35, like that type of shit.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if that's high. Well, that's 60 to 70.
So you think we're going to get 38 and they're going to get 30?
I think y'all can get like 30.
Or like 35.
Like a 35.
And they're going to get 27.
Something in that range.
Okay.
Or better. Because I think what happens is y'all either crack the seal or y'all don't. Right? And that's been how y'all season has been going.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the defense gets some points. And I think that the offense has a bigger trick bag a little bit. When you talk about starting the first and starting the third. So y'all might be able to blow it up.
All right.
That's where I'm at with it. But who the fuck am I? I just want to go to work and everybody be happy and everybody in traffic don't be giving me the middle finger. I just want,
Yep.
I just want a happy Philadelphia. I don't need the parade. I'll watch it and be like, you see how we get down. Just keep it safe, y'all. Please keep it safe. We lost a college student last time, but that was actually his own doing. And a few people got hurt because of somebody that seemed like they might not have been in their right mind driving the wrong way.
Yep.
So, just be careful out there, but celebrate like a motherfucker.
Absolutely.
Run it up. Have a ball. But make sure you get home safe and make sure you're not the reason somebody else doesn't.
That part.
That's all it come down to, man.
So, like Sam said in the beginning of this live, we won't be live on Monday.
Actually,
yeah.
We'll be live Monday. I get off at 4.
Do you?
I get off at 4 on Monday. I'm 2 to 10 the rest of the week.
Oh, okay. So we will be live on Monday.
Yeah, we'll be able to do it.
Perfect. So we'll be able to tell you how we feel after the big game. Until then, make sure that you go to the YouTube, hit subscribe, check out all of the content. We did just drop a Trippin' on Friday. So make sure you go check that out.
Can I tell you that Trippin' actually came up in my training?
Why?
They asked something that you're proud of recently or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I mentioned that I was a host of an all-black men designed fashion show, and that I don't usually host fashion shows,
Mm-hmm.
and that it was overwhelmingly a good experience, and it turned out to be great, and it was unexpected to me. So I actually mentioned that to the people I've been training with recently. That's crazy that we just posted that. Like, I literally said that last week.
That's funny.
Yep.
Yeah. So y'all can go check that out on the channel. We also have clips
Can
dropping.
we get around the strikes, or it's going to be strike the whole time?
I had to put different audio under it. But, oh, no, we can't get around those strikes.
All right, cool. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Shout out DJ and I.
No, I mean, I put stock audio under it, but then the stock audio had strikes. I'm pissed. Yeah. It's fine. Anyway, you can also check out the clips that we're dropping from our interview with Mel Austin Jr.
Mm-hmm. My guy.
That was a dope conversation. Those have just dropped or are about to drop this coming week. I can't remember. We have clips dropping from the interview with Asia Sparks as well on deck.
Nice.
And plenty of shorts to fill you in for the entire week moving forward. So yeah, make sure that you go to the YouTube, hit subscribe, comment, let us know how you feel, all that fun stuff, because the more you interact, the more people see us, and the better we do. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yo, appreciate y'all, man. It is now officially happy hour in the city where I'm at. So enjoy yourself, sip something. Shake the week off. Don't let it roll over. No rollover minutes when it comes to dark shit. Or the bigger and better, or figuring it out. That's all it is. That's all it is. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in. If you made it this far, you are appreciated. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please share the experience with somebody that you think would enjoy it. We appreciate that also. But on that note, we out of here, man. I go see my barber.
This is Sippin' with Sammy. I am
what I'm
Mr.
saying?
Flash It Only, the one and only Sippin' with Sammy. Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sippin' with
That's
Sammy, you ain't
crazy.
sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together.
Damn, Sammy, you done fucked up.
Fucking yuppie transplants. Move the fuck out. Get out of our fucking city. You ain't even fucking born here.
Thanks, Sammy.
Tired of you
Thanks,
motherfuckers.
Thanks, Sammy. Thanks, Sammy.